This is Mrs. Lopez, and we are going to look at how to make a website based on information that you already have in a slides presentation. So I have here the folder that I want it to go in, and the first thing that I need to do if I want to create a Google site is click on the New, and then my first options are these ones that are more common, but if I go to the More, and I go over, Google Sites is right here, and this is what I want to use. So my website is open, and I'm going to move my screen up a little bit. It's untitled currently. So based on my slide presentation, which is about clean water, I'm going to name my site the same title. Now, I think in addition to that, up in the header, I want my name to be there because this will be a project. So I'm going to take a text box and I'm actually going to put it up in here and put by Mrs. Lopez so that I have that information. Then what I want to do is, okay, so this is the homepage. This is where everyone's going to land. What information would I need on this? So I would want to go and pull my introduction from the slides, and I just highlight all of those words, and I did that because I have a mouse. I click and I drag. If you're working on something that's like a touch screen, you might need to like press and drag or use, I know the Chromebooks at school you would use 2 fingers, so you'd press with one finger and then drag with the other one to be able to highlight everything. So once I have this highlighted, I would then use Control-C. So the control button on your keyboard says CTRL, and you hold that down and then press the C button. So those two together, then copy everything. And when I go back to my site, I'm going to insert another text box. And you know what? Actually, I think that I want, and I'll put another text box to then put my text that I had. So when I want to paste it, all I need to do is press that control button again and press V, and it pulls over everything that I had in my slides. Now, going back and looking at my slides. So I think that I at least want a page, 3 separate pages for research, materials, and procedure. So I'm going to make those. So next to the insert, with all of these layouts, and then look, there's all sorts of other things that you can add. But let's start off with, I want to make other pages for those slides. So down at the bottom, there's a plus button for a new. So I want to make a new page. And I'm going to make a page for research. And then I want to make a page for materials. And I want to make a page for procedure. So now when I go back to my home page that I already started, I then already have my introduction, the paragraph, but then I can go to each of these pages and it automatically links everything right there. So I want to go back and look at my slides again. After that, I then had these charts and infographics, and honestly, I'm thinking that I'm going to want to use these on my home page. I'm going to want to use these on the procedure and on my research page. But then after, there's the stem connection and the conclusion. I think that those should be other pages. So I'm going to make 2 more pages, one for stem connection, one for conclusion. Conclusion, stem, and you know what? I'm going to take my home. Can I rename that? I want to name this introduction. There we go. That's even better. That's more information. So then I can go to my introduction page. That's where I start. Oh, I want my conclusion page to be at the end. I want that. So all I'm doing is clicking and dragging it down. So I want it to be my introduction, research, materials, procedure, stem, conclusion. Now they're in the right order up there. I could change the theme. So if I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, so I want to talk about clean water. Out of these different theme choices, I think that I like this better. Now, I would probably then, so I want to go back to pages. I want to go to the introduction. I'm going to want to change this image. So let's see if there's one that I could just select. I'm gonna try this one. I think that I like that just basic for my title. And then that same, it did not apply to all of them. So I would have to go in and change the image on each of these. And I would change it for each one. If I had done that first and then made the pages, they would all already be there. So now what I'm going to do is on the rest of the pages, I need to go back to insert here. I want to go ahead and put in the information that I already have on my slides. So for the research, I'm going to go over, and again, all that I'm doing is clicking and dragging to highlight. Once I highlight, Control-C to copy, and then I think I'm going to use this layout here, and Control-V to paste, and then I'll add a heading in here and add an image there later. So then the next page I want to work on is my materials. And again, for the materials, just going to copy, Control-C, bring it over. I think for this one I might just use a text box and Control-V, knowing that then I'll put another text box in by just pressing text box, and then I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it up here. And I want this one to be a heading. And I'm going to put in these words that I had here. Control-C, go back to the website, Control-V. I've now added most of the text over it, but now I've come up with a couple of problems. So I added a heading here, water, water everywhere, but I don't like that it's on 2 lines. So what I can do is take these blue dots and resize my different elements. So then my title can just be on 1 line, which makes me happier. In materials, all that I have was text, so that came fine. And in the procedure, all that I had was text, and that came over fine. But when I got to the stem, in my slides, I had images. But over here, I can't just take from my stem slides, I can't just take the picture and drag it over to the site. Instead, what I need to do is I need to save the image. And once I save this image, then I can go ahead and use it over on my website. So since I have this image in the slide, it was not letting me just save as, but when I right click on it, at the bottom, there is an option that says Save to Keep. So when I press Save to Keep and it came up over here, I was then able to right click on it and save. Hold on. There we go. Then I can save the image as, and I can say that that's a press. So then I press save. But this right here, when I do save image as, I want that one to be a clay filter. So then when I get to my site, now these have popped up here, but they would also be in my downloads. So if I go here and I want to select an image, oh, nope, not select image. If I go here and I want to upload, then those 2 that I just did, so I have the clay filter is the picture that I want, and I open it, and that would show up here. But then look, I don't like the way that it's sized, and part of that is just that it was tall rather than wide. So I need to resize it. And my options, I have to line up with the lines. So either it would be here or here. So I'm going to place that there, but see how it changed everything. So what I want to do is then just the picture, it's all lined up. So it's stuck together. There we go. I'm going to take the clay filters and I made them wider, which then just made this entire image. bigger. But my clay filter image, like I have a lot of information there, it might be that this layout isn't going to be the best and I might need to change that. Over here, I need this picture and the solar water looked here. So again, I'm going to come here. When I right click, I'm going to save it to keep. When it's over here, right click again, save image as, and this would be solar. Save it, come back to the website, and upload solar, open, and then that information is right there so that that can go together. And I can pull this down so it makes it the right size. I still want this guy to be, he's just a little bit too big. So I can do that, and then at least I'm happier with the sizing on all of that. And maybe what I'll do is then take this information and bring it right underneath, and it will be sized better. And I don't need this here at all. I can delete this whole section, and then I can add the clay filters, the solar water, and boiling water here. So all I need to do is find a picture, but you know what? I don't have a picture of boiling water. So I'm going to select an image. I'm just going to do a Google image search for boiling water, and different images come up here. And I think that I just like that simple one there. Insert it, and this might need just a little bit more. And there we go. Now I have my different ways, my stem connection, my information that I already had collected, my images, and it's all set to go. So you do need to save the images that you want to use to your device to then upload them up onto the website. Now, I'm not entirely done, but I wanted to show you one last step. So there's a publish button right here. And when we publish this, it's going to come up as sites.google.cdschools.org. And who can view my site? Anyone at Central Dauphin School District is who can view my site. So that's exactly as I want it. And I'm going to put this as clean water. That is going to then be my website, and I will publish it. So you will need to be logged in to see everyone's websites. So now that everything is published, I can then get a link to my thing. Now this is going specifically to the STEM. So actually the link that I would want would be my introduction. And if I get the link there and I copy this link, this information that's now copied to the clipboard, this is what you're going to share back with me when you turn in your work. I hope that all of this is good. If you need to go back and rewatch sections to help yourself, please do that. There is more that you can do with Google Sites, but I think this will give you enough information on adding text, adding images. Do you know what? The only other thing that I really do want to show you is how to add a video. So I'm going to put that, I think I want that in my introduction. So I'm going to stay in my introduction here, and I can add YouTube videos. So I went to YouTube and I found a video that I want to use. This shows how a clay filter is being made, which is one of the types of filtration systems that you can use for clean water. So then since I found the video that I wanted, I went to the share button and I copied that link, and then back in my Google site in the introduction page, I can then click the YouTube button, and then I paste in that video that I want to look for, and I search for it, and there's that video, and I select it, and then the video will be right there in my website so that I can share that as part of my project.